Behind the Scenes at the Museum by Kate Atkinson. Read by Susan Jameson. Chapter 1. 1951. Conception. I exist. I am conceived to the chimes of midnight on the clock on the mantelpiece in the room across the hall. The clock once belonged to my great-grandmother, a woman called Alice, and its tired chime counts me into the world. I'm begun on the first stroke and finished on the last, when my father rolls off my mother and is plunged into a dreamless sleep, thanks to the 5 pints of John Smith's best bitter he's drunk in the punch bowl with his friends Walter and Bernard Belling. At the moment at which I moved from nothingness into being, my mother was pretending to be asleep, as she often does at such moments. My father, however, is made of stern stuff, and he didn't let that put him off. My father's name is George, and he is a good 10 years older than my mother, who is now snoring into the next pillow. My mother's name is Berenice, but everyone has always called her Bunty. Bunty doesn't seem like a very grown-up name to me. Would I be better off with a mother with a different name? A plain Jane? A maternal Mary? Or something romantic, something that doesn't sound quite so much like a girl's comic? An Aurora? A Camille? Too late now. Bunty's name will be Mummy for a few years yet, of course, but after a while there won't be a single maternal noun, Mummy, Mum, Mam, Ma, Mama, Mom, Marmy, that seems appropriate, and I more or less give up calling her anything. Poor Bunty. We live in a place called Above the Shop, which is not a strictly accurate description, as both the kitchen and dining room are on the same level as the shop itself, and the topography also includes the satellite area of the backyard. The shop, a pet shop, is in one of the ancient streets that cower beneath the looming dominance of York Minster. In this street lived the first printers and the stained-glass craftsmen that filled the windows of the city with coloured light. The 9th Legion Hispania that conquered the north marched up and down our street, the Via Praetoria of their great fort, before they disappeared into thin air. Guy Fawkes was born here. Dick Turpin was hung a few streets away, and Robinson Crusoe, that other great hero, is also a native son of this city. Who is to say which of these is real and which a fiction? These streets seethe with history. The building that our shop occupies is centuries old, and its walls tilt and its floors slope like a medieval funhouse. There's been a building on this spot since the Romans were here, and needless to say it has its due portion of light-as-air occupants who wreathe themselves around the fixtures and fittings and linger mournfully at our backs. Our ghosts are particularly thick on the staircases, of which there are many. They have much to gossip about. You can hear them if you listen hard, the plash of water from Viking oars, the Harrogate tally-ho rattling over the cobblestones, the pat and shuffle of ancient feet at an assembly-room's ball, and the scratch-scratch of the Reverend Stern's quill. As well as being a geographical location, Above the Shop is also a self-contained seething kingdom with its own primitive rules and 2 rival contenders for the crown, George and Bunty. The conception has left Bunty feeling irritable, an emotion with which she's very comfortable, and only after much tossing and turning does she succumb to a restless, dream-laden sleep. Given free choice from the catalogue offered by the Empire of Dreams on her first night as my mother, Bunty has chosen dustbins. In the dustbin dream, she's struggling to move 2 heavy dustbins around the backyard. Now and then a vicious tug of wind plasters her hair across her eyes and mouth. She's growing wary of one dustbin in particular. She suspects it's beginning to develop a personality uncannily like that of George. Suddenly, as she heaves hard at one of the bins, she loses control of it, and it falls with a crash of galvanized metal, crash, kerclunk, spewing its contents over the concrete surface of the yard. Debris, mostly from the shop, is sprawled everywhere. Empty sacks of Wilson's biscuit mix, flattened packets of Trill, tins of Kitty Cat and Chappie that have been neatly stuffed with potato peelings and eggshells, not to mention the mysterious newspaper parcels that look as if they might contain severed babies' limbs. Despite the mess, the dreaming Bunty experiences a flush of pleasure when she sees how tidy her rubbish looks.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?